Hi everyone, I'm going to walk you guys through how easy it is to create a digital sub plan. Subs at the last minute are always tough because usually all of our fabulous, wonderful subs are taken, and it's kind of a crapshoot as far as who you're going to get. Also, even with the best sub and with the best kids, the lesson doesn't quite have the same oomph, I guess, as it would if you were there. This is an option that you have. All the things I'm about to show you, you can do in Google Classroom. And I really encourage everyone, if you are still unfamiliar with Google Classroom, to talk to your tech coach or to go to Janet's presentation during session 2. I'm going to show you guys how to create a digital subplan using a program called Nearpod. This is something that I know Andy Mitchell and Aaron Anderson introduced last year. It's a presentation program that you can use either to present simultaneously on student devices, and you also have the option of letting the students go at their own pace. The free options on Nearpod are great. You know, I would really encourage everyone to sign up for Nearpod and play around with it. I have the paid version. It's 120 bucks for the entire year. 10 bucks a month, not bad, because I am planning on using it a lot more frequently in my classroom because the times that I have used it have been pretty effective. So I'm going to time myself and see how long it takes. I'm going to assume that I came down with something after the professional development tonight and can't make class on Tuesday. And I'm teaching in my AP US history class. We're starting our conversation on Reconstruction. So I'm going to try and put together a digital sub plan here that the students will be able to go through. So let's see how I do on time, starting now. Okay, so I am going to log on to Nearpod. Now I've already created an account. You can use your Google or your sonomaschools.org account as well. And there's a couple options here. The first thing I would really encourage everyone to do, especially if you're not feeling well at all, is click on the Explore option because there's a lot of pre-built lessons already in the Nearpod database. They have versions that are free, they have ones that are not. And you can see here that they've got some selected lessons that are listed here. But I'm going to look for one on Reconstruction. I don't feel like paying anymore, so I'm going to go free. I'm going to limit the results by clicking Social Studies, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. And just by switching on those filters, you can see that I've got lots of different lessons that I can pick from. But I'm looking for one on Reconstruction. And no luck. Okay. But let's just say, for example, as I'm planning my subplan, I see something that I might want to use in a future class, or at least look at. And oh, here we go. There's something on World War I. I like that. You can click on it, and this is created by another teacher in the Nearpod community, and you can just add it to your library. This is where you would house not only presentations that you are sharing, just like the one that I just did, but also ones that you create. So I'm going to navigate over to my library since I didn't have any luck finding a pre-built lesson on Nearpod. You can see there's some other ones I've got up here. So I'm going to create a new one. And I was planning on giving a lecture on Reconstruction. We're going to have some discussion. I had a couple video clips that I wanted the students to look at, and we're going to look at some documents as well. So the nice thing about Nearpod is that I can create stuff from scratch if I want to, but I'm sick, so I really don't feel like doing that. So I'm just going to drag and drop my Reconstruction PowerPoint right into Nearpod. And depending on the size, it will take, you know, upwards to a minute to load. The limit of size file that you can put on a Nearpod is 10 megabytes. So if you've got some really high resolution pictures in there, or if you've got video, etc., it won't kick over. So you have to keep it under 10. But and you can see there, and mine went through. And then when I click OK, what pops up is my PowerPoint. There it is. And it takes a little bit of time for it to load because it is a rather big file. And it's got all of my slides just listed right there. I don't have to make any changes to them. I can literally stay on them. Now, the nice thing that Nearpod offers is a number of different features that you can add to a presentation. Because the file is rather big, you can see that I've got a lot of stuff there since I was planning on lecturing and talking about everything. Oh, my battery's low. I better charge that. So I'm going to let this run for a second while I plug in my battery. So much for making this fast. So you can see there's the size of my PowerPoint, 8.9 megabytes. I want to add a slide because I see here that I've got a discussion question. Now, I was just going to have this discussion with the students. They've already got their Cornell note paper. They know how to take Cornell notes in my class. But instead of having them actually write it down, their answer, I'm going to have them type it. So I'm going to click on Add Slide. So I'm going to click plus. And I want to add an activity. Okay, content, web content, activity. These are the options that you have. I'm going to show you guys all of them. Okay, so I'm going to click on activity, and I can answer or ask an open-ended question. There's polling software available. You can even give quizzes. You can even have the students draw, do fill in the blanks. There's a number of other options that you have. Memory test I haven't used yet, and I'm not going to go through that on this video. But I just want an open-ended question. So I'm going to click on it. And then I'm going to say something like this. I'm going to say, I think I got a better idea. I'm going to open my PowerPoint and copy the text of my question. I probably should have done that already. Okay. There we go. And I can add a picture to it if I want to. I can add math symbols, but who'd want to do that? Maybe math teachers. And I click Save. And now what will happen is it's creating a slide to where they have given me an open-ended question. And you're probably wondering, like, where is it? Okay, well, there it is. Now to reorder these, it's just like PowerPoint or Google Slides. You simply just got to drag it up. I want to put it right here. And I'm going to get rid of this slide because I don't need it. Okay. All right, so now at this point, I know that I want the students to come up with their own plan for reconstruction. Okay, and so I am going to kind of do the same thing. I'm going to copy and paste some text in there where they can respond to stuff. There's their plan for reconstruction that they have to create, and then there are 3 questions that they have to answer. So I'm going to quickly copy and paste those from my PowerPoint. Okay. Add a slide, add activity, open-ended question. Okay. Now I know these are all going to be put at the end of the presentation, so I'm just going to add them. Okay. And we need one more. And like anything else, you know, the more you do this, the easier it becomes. If I'm going too fast for some people, that's okay. That's why you put those on videos, so that way you can pause it. All right. So now I've created my 3 open-ended questions. There they are. They're in the order that I want, and I want to bring them all up. So I am going to select all of them by holding down Command as I click on each one, and I'll just drag them up. And whoops, there we go. So now I can get rid of that slide, and you can also get rid of slides simultaneously just by using that command feature that's on your keyboard right next to your space bar, and then boom, there you go. So now I have taken something that was going to be primarily group discussion and I made it individual. So now the students can go through it at their own pace. The next thing I was going to do is I was going to give a presentation on the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. Now to replace this, it's going to be really tough because it's me. And I don't really have time to do a voice recording or a screencast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly look on YouTube and see if I can find something the students can watch on Abraham Lincoln's assassination. Okay. Now they don't have an hour and 20 minutes. Let's find something short. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I did recently watch that in preparation for this lecture. So I found this video. It's a program from the 1950s called I've Got a Secret. And I'm going to go ahead and let the kids watch that. So I'm going to copy that YouTube link and I'm going to come back to Nearpod. So you have another option. You can add web content. And I just have to type in the URL and then click save. And then it basically has it set up to where the students can click on the video right there. And I'll get rid of these slides because I'm not here. Okay, so they're just going to watch that and I'll fill them in on the rest when I get back. All right, so there we go. So I've got some open-ended questions. I've added a web link that they can quickly click on. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it another way. I have two small clips from the Gilder Lehrman Institute for American History that I was planning on showing, and I want the kids to watch it, and I also want them to come up with a response to some questions that I have. So they know for the rest of these slides that they just have to take Cornell notes on them. That's already stuff that's known in my class. It's a procedure that's been established. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Add Slide. Okay. Now I've added web content. I've showed you how to add an activity and the options there. I'm just going to add content in general. Okay. And here we go. Thank you very much, Nearpod. Okay, so now I have some options here. I can put in a slide. I can use 3D. These are some beta testing they're doing. I can put in a virtual field trip. I can put in a slideshow. What I want to do is put in a video to where they don't have to click on a link. They just click on the video. So I'm going to click on that option. And then it says, okay, where exactly are you going to put this? So what I'll do is I'm going to go to Gilder Lehrman. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to add some videos. I was going to show these videos anyway. I just navigated. Sorry about that little interruption there. My timer is still going, so with the interruption. So there it is. So at this point, these are some videos I wanted to show. They're on Vimeo. They're from the Gilder Lehrman Institute for American History. And I was going to be showing these in class. They're short little clips of Professor Eric Foner talking about Reconstruction in two different senses. And I want the students to be able to watch these. The only problem is that the only way that I can link a Vimeo is if I linked it kind of like you saw the last YouTube video. But I actually want the video to pop up on their screen. So I'm going to show you how to add content. So I have already pulled up just the two videos that I want the students to watch. They're very short. I'm going to go back to Nearpod. Okay, and then from here what I'm going to do is I want to add the videos to bookend the presentation. So I'm going to click on Add Slide and I want to add content. Now very much like adding an activity, it's got some options here. A lot, or actually most of them, I'm not going to have time to walk you guys through today, but I encourage you to take a look at it. I still have to do so myself. So I want to put together a video, or put in a video, so I'm going to select video. And since it's on YouTube, I'm going to click on the first one, copy that link. Okay, and paste it, look for it, there it is, and then click Save. Okay, there's that video, which I'm going to put at the beginning, and I want to follow that with an open-ended question. Okay, adding activity, open-ended question, and we'll do something like at your table groups, or actually no, let's have them respond. Let's say Okay. I'm doing this in real time, so if that sentence doesn't make sense, too bad. Uh, because I'm supposed to be sick. All right. Please explain your answer in the space below. Okay. So I'm going to click Save. There's my open-ended question. And there it is. The kids know that they have to take Cornell notes on the following slides, so I don't have to provide any instruction there. But I want to remind the sub that that's what they have to do. So this time I'm just going to add a simple slide. Okay, please take Cornell notes on the following presentation. Okay. If our substitute, if the substitute teacher could please have the students take out their Cornell notes, that would be great. I wouldn't put that. Or I might. I don't know. And I'm going to click Save, just as a reminder. And I'm going to move this up here. Okay. And then I need to add another video and another open-ended question. So since I've got my YouTube links up here, all right, there it is. There's Professor Foner. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing again, add slide. We're going to add content. We're going to scroll over to video. Remember, Vimeo doesn't work on this, only YouTube. Vimeo would work, but it wouldn't pop up automatically, as you're going to see here in a second. Select the video, click Save. There's the video. And then lastly, I'm going to put in one more open-ended question. Oops, I want activity. Okay. Okay, and just like that, I've created a lesson that my students are going to be able to go through at their own pace. And as far as time, just made it under 20 minutes. Okay. Now, I did that in real time. Well, mostly real time. I got interrupted there by my 3-year-old daughter, but that's okay. Normally, it takes me about 15 minutes to put together a Nearpod. And at this point, you're like, okay, your lesson's done. Don't have to make any copies. It's already up there. I know that my students have devices they bring to school every day. Obviously, this wouldn't necessarily work if you didn't have those devices. But again, it's an option. So at this point, what I'd like to do is the presentation is done, but now I want the students to be able to go through it at their own pace. Right? So I'm going to come back to my library. And this is the final step and really the only thing that you would need to put in the sub plan other than please take roll. And I'm going to go ahead and save the changes to that. Okay. And I'm going to fill that out later. Oh, I guess I'm not. All right, 11th and social studies and save and exit. Okay. And there it is. All right, so now there's two options that you have here. The live lesson is the free option. It's a great thing to use in your own class if you want to keep your students on task. You can basically have them have their laptops up, and then the only thing they're allowed to look at their laptop once they join in is the presentation that you're showing simultaneously. You can also do it on the phones too. I've done both. But what I'm using for my sub plan is what you have to pay for, and that's the student-paced version. And again, All of this can be done using Google Classroom, which is for free. This is just an option to consider. So I'm going to click on Student Paste, and it gives me a code. I want to take that code and copy it in my sub plan. All right. Now I'm going to log in as a student here, or just as my own personal email. I'm opening my Chromebook, or I should say my Google Chrome right now. And there's the spinning wheel of death. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so I'm going to sign in to my personal email. So that way it doesn't kick me in automatically. I'm going to go to Nearpod. So all you would need to do in your sub plan is just tell the substitute to direct the students to nearpod.com. And here it is. All right. And then all they have to do is enter the PIN. And once they enter the PIN, which the sub can put on the board, press enter. And now I'm going to walk through the entire presentation that I just did. Okay. It'll prompt me to add my name. Okay. I'll put Andy G since there's a zillion Andys at Sonoma Valley High, which is a good thing. And now I can go through at my own pace. So I can look at the title, I can type my answers there. If I want to, I can come back to it. There's the instructions for creating my plan for reconstruction. There are the 3 answers that I have to type in. Okay, there's the video that I'm going to watch. Okay, there's Professor Phoner. There's the question. All right, there's my instructions, followed by some Cornell notes. Again, all at student pace. No copies required. There's my last video and my last question. And now my presentation is done, and I've done my work and my subplan's finished. We all know subplans aren't perfect, but Nearpod is certainly a way that you can spice things up. And that only took me about 20 minutes and change to do, which isn't bad for a decent subplan. So thank you very much. And again, if you don't want to pay for this, that's okay. The free version's great. And all the stuff that you just saw can be done in Google Classroom. Not as interactive, but still very effective. Thanks so much for watching, and all right, we'll see you soon.